Jillian Decoursey, Lionheart. Is that from the movie Jean-Claude Van Damme, or is it just does it come from somewhere else?
Yeah, no, it actually, my first coach gave it to me, and he kind of took it from there because, I was just like in training, just kind of get beat up and whatever, and just keep going, 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 and it doesn't matter.
Have you seen the movie yourself?
I saw only clips of it. I know that's the worst part, right? It was like
It's
it's been like I've had that nickname for like 5 years now,
yeah.
and I never actually watched the movie.
New York, it's been hit pretty bad by the coronavirus. Like in like a few days, it's just pretty widespread. What's your life like right now?
I mean, it's pretty crazy. It's different. Luckily, I'm out on in Nassau County in Long Island. So I'm a little bit more removed from, the real mayhem of being in the city. But it's a different way of life now. Everything we're doing is, I'm doing everything from my house. I'm working from home. Luckily I was able to set up like a little gym setup in my basement. So now it's like, all right, I'm working from home. I'm training at home. Everything is just kind of located around your house. And, just going to the grocery store now is like a big event and a, stressful experience. And it's like, wow, in like a matter of minutes, how quickly, life can change. But also at the same time, you put things in perspective and kind of take things that we were taking for granted and like, wow, really everything can be ripped away from you like that.
Yeah, I was listening to I think it was a podcast or an interview, and this guy was saying that now all the people that live in first world countries get to understand what third world countries been living the whole time. This is their
Right.
lifestyle.
Yep. 100%. Like, even like just little things that we don't think about, like, I have my morning routine where I'm like Lysoling everything around the house, like disinfecting, bleach and everything. And it's like, normally, all right, you do your cleaning and stuff, but we don't do it to this degree and extent. And it's like, wow, wait, these are things that, some people have to think about, all the time just because, threats are there.
Do you have a daily routine that you set out every day? Like this is I'm gonna keep, like a kind of like a military style, or do you just kind of wake up and just go with the flow?
I'm more of a go with the flow person, but I do try and keep a routine. I'm in addition to being, to fighting, a mental health therapist. So, I have that, which keeps, definitely has been helping keep a routine for me because I have clients scheduled. So I have to make sure, hey, I'm up, I'm getting dressed. I'm kind of doing things where, hey, if you're just working from home and you're not actually interacting with people, it's very difficult to kind of keep a routine. But for me, I'm like, no, wait, I have to look presentable. I have to do all these things. So I'm trying as best as I can to keep a routine because it's important. And we're structured beings.
Yeah, yeah. Luckily, you don't have a fight coming up, or do you have a fight coming up?
No, no, no. I had, I had before all this went down and we were pushing hard to try and get something for April. And then, that thing started happening. So I was like, all right, let's wait. And then, it was like, all right, maybe we'll look at May. But at this point right now, it's like, all right, we don't even know kind of how things are going, like moment to moment. So it's like, all right, we got to wait until at least I know that, hey, things are settling down and gyms are going to be back open. Because I don't want to jump into something and, not know what's going on, because we're at that point, especially in New York where, we don't know what it's going to bring. And, every moment it's getting worse. So
Do you find yourself doing certain things more now that you do have time at home and you could kind of like sit down and see like, okay, maybe I should watch more film, or maybe I should learn about nutrition more, is there anything?
Yeah, I'm definitely trying to, because my schedule is usually really jam packed. Like I'm pretty much going nonstop between, running from training, running to my office to see clients, running back to training. So I'm usually like kind of nonstop, like 6 days a week, like 12 hours a day. So I'm kind of trying to take advantage and use this time wisely and really get into touch with things that I can never do because I'm just, running around like a maniac 24/7. So I'm trying to take up like different kind of ways of working out and things I don't get into. Doing some like yoga classes, trying to just like really kind of take this time and take advantage and be like, all right, let me reset, let me put things back in perspective, and where there was holes, I work on those holes. And now that I have, lots of solo time, focusing on the training aspects that you don't get to focus on because you're like, oh, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do this. All right, well, there's a lot of like, individual drills and things that, those get usually tossed to the side. So now I'm like, okay, well, now's my opportunity to do to fine tune all those things that I can't, I usually don't have the time to do.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, those solo drills, I think those things they become overlooked after
Yep.
training for so long, because you're just like, I'm a professional, I know what I'm doing. You kind of get stuck in that, and then like you're always looking for the new thing. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
oh, this is coming up, so I gotta do this, and then this is something new. So I guess, yeah, if you take advantage of the time right now, if you're in isolation, just do the
Right.
solo drills now. Yeah. Um,
Yeah, I mean, it's like, and I'm trying to like keep myself as in best shape as I can. So then when I am able to get back, that it's like not like such a hard hit on my body. And plus I'm not somebody that can kind of sit idle for too long anyway. I'm already feeling my energy levels like through the roof. I'm like, oh man, is this like what it feels like to be like a normal person and not like run your body to the ground every day?
yeah, there's two ways you can go. You could keep yourself busy and keep yourself healthy and keep your weight down, or you could go the opposite way and just sit on the
Right.
couch. And I'm pretty sure there's fighters on both sides of the spectrum.
Right. Yeah, I can't sit still. I sit for like I could maybe get through like an hour show or movie, and then after that I'm like, all right, kind of all antsy.
Let's get into your career a little bit. Summer 2017, you made your professional debut. Looking back at that experience, did you feel any different, or did it feel any different from your amateur fights? Because you had a lot of amateur fights.
I think like my last few amateur fights were really, really anxiety provoking, and I felt like a lot of pressure because I knew kind of Invicta was watching me, and there was potential that they were going to offer me a contract. So it was like, I would say the last three amateur fights were really, really stressful, more stressful than my pro debut, because it was like, okay, any little mistake that you make, that you can mess things up for yourself. So kind of that pro debut with them was like kind of like a okay, I could kind of relax. I'm here, it's here, and it was just such an amazing experience that I would say it was definitely, I felt less pressure doing that than my last couple of amateurs.
Which fight do you think changed you?
I would say my first loss to when I fought Alicia Zapatella, that really kind of was like, okay, hey, we got to look at things, we got to do things differently. And then, last year I fought, then I had another loss pretty much right after it when I fought Kelly. And that one was where we really, my coaches and I, we took a step back and we were like, all right, we got to, like, let's look at things. And it was a big realization point that I wasn't, up until that point, once I went pro, I kind of changed the way I was fighting. I kind of was fighting more, not my game plan. And I was, thinking about like, oh, what things I should be doing. As far as like what fans are looking for, and if they're a striker, I should stand and bang with them. Where no, take it to where I'm strong. So after my fight with Kelly was like, that was the real turning point where we were like, no, wait, let's kind of get back to what you're good at, what your strengths are, and focus on that. And since then, we've kind of revamped training and just where we're focusing at, and really, and it's, my last two fights have been a complete different fighter in there, and I felt more confident because I knew what I was going to do, and I'm like, wait, that I don't, most people can't hang with me in that world, so let's go back to that, and it's been working.
Yeah, what was that feeling like coming back after two losses, and then SCF FC getting a TKO finish, your first finish of your pro career? What was that feeling? It must have been crazy.
Oh, it felt amazing. I mean, it was one of the best feelings because it was like, I need this. I need to get back on track for myself. I take losses really, really hard, and not in a sore loser type of way, but I take them to heart, and I take them like personally, like, hey, I didn't do enough. You weren't, you didn't perform the way you needed to. You didn't show your best out there. So I knew I needed that finish and just to get myself back on track. And Katie was tougher than I thought, and she came out real tough. But going into the third round, I just had in my mind that, all right, you know what? No, I'm not letting you get out of this round. We got to finish it. And, I just dug deep and, it happened.
With these 2 wins, it's like you hit a groove. You're gathering this momentum now, right?
Yeah, it definitely feels like a groove. That's why, after my last fight in February, we were trying to get back in there as soon as possible. I was possibly had another fight for Cage Fury at the beginning of no, actually it would have been last weekend. But the way it turns out now, they weren't able to get me an opponent, and the event got canceled anyway because of everything that's going on. So I'm kind of viewing that as like a blessing in disguise, like. All right, at least I wasn't, putting myself through a training camp, unfortunately for the event to be canceled because of everything. But, and then, I wanted to get back in there as soon as possible. But, life circumstances have kind of taken a little bit of a detour for us. So, as soon as things settle, hopefully I can get back in there.
I feel like momentum is just an essential thing for a fighter. Once you get it, you got to keep it. You know what I mean?
Right.
You can't like lose that
right.
It's out of your control. This thing is completely out of your control. So how do you keep yourself mentally strong? You're a mental health counselor, so it must help being somebody that helps other people with their mental side.
Yeah, no, it definitely does. It is helpful because I'm like the type of person that always views things as like you have to practice what you preach, right? So if I'm going to tell someone to view a situation in a certain way or try and think positive, I'm like, I need to do that myself. I can't just tell people to do this and not do it myself. That's not cool. And I'm just generally like usually see the glass half full and pretty positive person. So it's like, even, when life gets me down and tries to, throw me a train wreck, it's like, all right, you let it affect you, but then it's like, take a deep breath and, all right, let me push forward and, make the best of, even the crappiest situations.
Your last win was at Invicta FC 39. In that main event, the title was kind of on the line, the champ missed weight. Was it Ashley Cummings, right? She could have won the title, but she lost that fight. So basically, it's vacant. Like, so Who do you see? Do you think the champ deserves to get another shot at the title, or do you feel like we need to get some fresh faces in there and have them battle it out for the belt?
Yeah, they're, I think the deal that they had made when when Jane got stripped of the title because she missed weight was that they, if she did win, okay, she wouldn't win the title, but she would, be able to get that next title shot. As far as opponents, right now, just within Invicta itself, there's a lot of top contenders, Atomweights that they could definitely put up there, and it would be a hell of a fight. And, I think we have, as far as, Atomweights go, Invicta is definitely, right now, the place to be, outside of like one and things like that. But, I'm glad I get to be part of that. And, hopefully, with some more wins and just keep that momentum going that, I'll get my shot one day.
How many wins do you think you're away from a title shot? Because, you're ranked in around like the 20-ish, like around that number, 20 around there. So is it like about 3 more wins? If you get on like a 5-5 winning streak, it's pretty much hard to deny you.
Yeah, I think if I win my next couple fights, I definitely have a good case. My last fight with Kelly, I didn't go out there and fight my best, but there's also like little things that happen within the fight that were like, all right, a little suspect. But it is what it is. You leave it to judges, and you don't do what you got to do to finish it, then you have to deal with it. My fight with Alicia, I took that fight on a week's notice, and we went the distance, and it was a very competitive fight, and she's one of the the top ranked in the division right now. So it's like, I see it definitely if I get a couple more wins under my belt, especially under the Invicta banner, I have a very good case to make to get that shot.
Open judging, they did it recently at an Invicta event. Did you watch that event? And what are your thoughts
I watched all their
that?
events. I think it's a good idea, because it's like as a fighter, sometimes your corners, and you might think that, hey, you're winning, or you might think you're losing and you're actually winning, and you could be completely misjudging it. And now it's like, okay, it's concrete. And I like the fact that they just show it to the corners, and then it's up to the coach. They know their fighter, so they get to decide if they share it with them or they don't. But it makes it concrete, and if every other sport does it, why don't we do it?
Well, I look at it like this. When you go to like a football game or a basketball game and you walk into the arena, you look at the field first or the court first, but then after that you look at the scoreboard. So I feel
Right,
like you should have a scoreboard. Like you should have the names of the fighters up there with the judges' names and their
right,
scores. So if a fan walks in and they're like, "Oh, what's going on?" and you just look up at the scoreboard and say, "Oh, okay. Um,
right,
Jillian's winning, right? She's won for the first 2 rounds. This is round three. The other girl has to come out and do something drastic to win this fight."
right. Right, 100%. I know some of the things that people were saying that didn't were kind of against it were, hey, that they felt like, hey, if one person is, they know they won the first 2 rounds, all right, come the third round, they might kind of like avoid and not, not make it try and make it a boring fight in that third round. Yeah, that is possible. But then, the other person that knows that they lost those 2 rounds, they're coming out gunning for that finish. So that, that could lead for a more exciting fight. The way I see it is like, if I know that I won 2 rounds, I'm going to take more chances in that third round. Because I know if I go for a sub and I wind up on my back, as long as I don't do something really stupid, even if I lost that third round, I won the fight.
Yeah, that's a great perspective. You're right. You're right. You could take chances, and as long as you keep
Yeah,
yourself safe, you could go for
right.
finishes. Even because you won the first 2 rounds, so you know that even if you do lose this round, you still won the fight.
Right. And you could take
Yeah.
those, like, because especially with subs, with subs, you're on top. You're like, because I do it myself. I'm like, man, I don't want to go for this armbar because I go for it, unless there's like 20 seconds left or something like that. I wind up on my back, could potentially lose a round just because I went, I went for the sub. But third round, I know I won the first two. I'm going for it.
The Phoenix Series 3, the main event, it was one of the craziest
Jeez.
fights. Did you see her face? Like it was so many
It was
cuts, right? It's
it
so
was like
tough.
Frankenstein.
Yeah. And then a couple days later, you had Zhang Wei Li and Joanna Jędrzejczyk fight, and that was even crazier, right? It's just
Yep.
like women's MMA in the last year or 2 years has become just phenomenal, I believe, and I think the fans are starting to realize it too.
Yeah, I think so, and I think I mean, it's been the die hard like women's MMA fans have been always felt like the women's fights were more exciting, and then you get the people that weren't really into it, but now I mean, especially with those two fights back to back, it's like you can't deny that the women are bringing it, and especially with that with Lisa's face in that main event, like she was wrecked, and it was like, man, you could, like, the way her facial expressions were, she was cold as could be, like nothing phasing her. That's impressive.
And then, Joanna's forehead, it was just
Oh
like,
my God, yeah, that the crater.
yeah, it's just
That was
tough
nuts.
as nails, tough as nails. Do you pay attention to the atomweight divisions around the world? Because of course Invicta has a great atomweight division. I feel like the two other promotions you should be watching if you watch the women's atomweight division is One Championship and Rizin.
Yep.
Do you watch those other promotions?
Yep, I definitely do. We've actually been trying to get a fight with Ryzen against Ai. We like it's been a fight that has been kind of proposed a little bit, but nothing like concretely. So it's something that my manager and I are definitely pushing for. Matchup wise, like we match up really, really well. She's tough, she's awesome, and we're trying to make that one happen. And show the Japanese fans a really exciting fight.
Yeah, yeah. They've been sending a lot of girls out there, so it's
Yeah, and it's
it's always a
Invicta. A
possibility.
bunch of the Invicta girls have gone, so it's like, hey, let's go, let's make this happen.
I'm gonna give you a scenario. The UFC calls. They don't have
Yep.
an atomweight division. They have a strawweight division. Do you go? Do you sign with the UFC?
I think for the only way I would jump up to strawweight would be, if it was that UFC call. I feel like you can't, turn that down, even if it's not your weight class. And you see a lot of the atom weights have jumped up to the UFC just because it was like, hey, all right, I can't, UFC calls me, I can't say no. But then at the same time, strawweight is definitely not my natural weight class. I'm an Atomweight. I'm not my bone structure, my size, everything. Even when I, eat like crap, I don't get way heavy. So that would be the only stipulation that it would go up to 115, just because you can't really say no to that.
All right, Jillian, thank you so much for the time. It was fun chatting with you, and hopefully you stay safe
Yes.
and you improve yourself through drilling and just have. I guess you gotta just have fun and enjoy the time that you have alone and at a home and yeah, that's all you can do, right? Just try to
Yep.
keep positive.
Yeah, exactly. And you got to make the best of every situation, and try and just think of it like, hey, I try and view everything that everything happens for a reason. So it's like, all right, I got to find my purpose within this, and just stay safe, stay healthy, and keep everybody safe and healthy around me too.